Are you equally sick and tired of making good money? According to a report by Career Builder, 3 out of 4 Americans live paycheck to paycheck every month. If you are one of those people, 78% of them to be exact, you are undoubtedly wondering how you might stop it. The solution is frugal living and applying the habit of frugality. So, I'm going to share with you today the 5 frugal living habits that will enable you to break the cycle and start having more money at the end of the month for your needs, those of your family, and your future ambitions. The answer to one of the main issues most people have with their finances is one of the habits I will show you today at the end of this video. It is important to find the source of your financial problems because if you do not remove that source, it will be very difficult to modify your financial condition in the future. But first, if you are new here, welcome! And before we get started, your financial freedom is our goal. We are the Money Geniuses. We show you our expertise in the area of personal finance in order to assist industrious people like you in getting more from your hard-earned money. Let's get started. Let us first briefly discuss why living frugally is the answer to the cycle of paycheck to paycheck living. Being more responsible with your money is the basis of frugal living, and that is where the real difference resides. Most people spend their money extremely subconsciously and are not even aware of the purpose of their purchases at the end of the month, if at all. They may also have forgotten about some costs, spend a lot of money carelessly on unneeded items, and now lack of funds to complete the very crucial tasks that were due this month. But what does consciously actually mean? Prioritizing your expenditure entails cutting less on the lower priority areas immediately to free up more funds for the higher priority areas. And by altering your lifestyle and spending patterns, you automatically alter your financial circumstances and can halt the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. You must first become conscious of an issue in order to solve it, and then you must decide to change it. You must recognize the underlying causes of your living paycheck to paycheck in order to intentionally improve your situation and implement a solution that is unique to you. Because of this, it is impossible to generalize the subject. Instead, you must determine for yourself what is currently wrong and what you may do better. This process begins with 2 things. 1. You should emphasize paying yourself first. 2. You must also determine your own position and where you wish to be in the future. Now, let's straightforward jump into our simple top 5 frugal living habits that can save you tons of money every month. Number 1. Cut back on your life. The first habit is to constantly assess your circumstances to determine whether they truly fit within your means or not, and if they do not, to reduce them once again. I believe it is evident that you cannot escape the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck if you are just living over your means. But with time, individuals tend to acquire more and more items they cannot afford, like the new automobile, the way too large house, or the new TV that requires a loan, which is the major cause of living over their means. These very things are signs that you are living beyond your means. Therefore, you need to be careful to scale back on your lifestyle and keep an eye on it. It would be quite tough for you to break the cycle, and it might be time for you to leave if you are paying 30% or more on your rent or on your house overall. Yes, it isn't pleasant, but who said that change is pleasant? If we are being honest, convenience is what brought us here in the first place. So, what is the best course of action? At least once a year, you should assess your financial status and determine whether there are any areas where you can, or perhaps even need to, cut down your expense. Since these adjustments typically do not happen easy, you must step outside of your comfort zone and act when you identify problem areas. Number 2. Set financial goals. Do you recall how I said at the beginning that knowing where you want to be in the future is crucial for you? That is precisely the topic at hand. To change something, you must first understand what you want to achieve, understand what needs to change, and understand what will get you there. Goal setting can be done in a variety of ways, many of which are extremely sophisticated. But the key to motivating us to act is to keep things simple. It is crucial to keep your goals simple because when something seems extremely difficult, we tend to put it off. Consider where you want to be in 3 to 5 years. I do not just mean financially by saying so, money is just a means to an end. The next factor to take into account is how much money you will need to complete it. For instance, let us imagine you want to go around the world in 3 to 5 years over a period of 1 year. Let us assume you require $1,000 every month, or a total of $12,000. You must now make a plan for how you will obtain this $12,000, because it will be quite challenging to do so if you now live paycheck to paycheck. If you save $200 every month for this purpose, you will have $12,000 in 5 years for your international trip, which is what I meant when I said earlier that part of frugal living is prioritizing what is most important to you and then minimizing everything else. Because you undoubtedly need to make some life changes in order to save $200 a month. Goals are the cornerstone. Therefore, use them as inspiration to improve your situation in whatever way. The cycle might never be broken without them. If you would like, you may also plan your financial objectives by looking at our other frugal living habits and contents of frugality that are linked in the below video description. Number 3. Look for alternatives. The following step is to continue looking for alternatives. This is somewhat related to the downsizing because here, the focus is on finding less expensive alternatives that can be seamlessly integrated. Therefore, it presents itself to hunt for less expensive alternatives if you have expenses that you want to reduce but do not want to do away with entirely. This can include tiny expenses, like particular meals, or bigger fixed costs like power or internet. There are several suppliers today that compare your electricity and internet rates, giving you the opportunity to lower rates and so reduce fixed costs. We regularly review our rates and are able to keep our fixed expenses to a minimum, which prevents us from having to live paycheck to paycheck. Number 4. Allow money to work for you. The next good habit is to put the money you might be saving right now to work for you by turning it into an investment. How? By making investments. Instead of always working for money and spending it all at once, month after month, it is crucial to get into the habit of finding ways to put your money to work for you so that it can bring in additional income. Because developing the habit is more important than the actual sums at first. A budget of $50 per month should suffice. After that, you can always increase the amount. To get you started, choose a broker of your choice and start saving via ETF savings plan that covers the world economy and invest the money. In the future, we will bring more videos about investing. But for now, choose a broker of your choice. See our recommendations below in the video description. You may, for instance, go with an exchange-traded fund that provides exposure to the MSCI World Index. The MSCI World is a global stock index that monitors the financial performance of corporations located in 23 of the world's most industrialized nations. Investing in the MSCI World Index through exchange-traded funds, ETFs, allows you to take part, in addition to price gains, in the dividend increases of the firms in the index. However, you should always look into which ETF to buy exactly, because each has its own set of specific requirements. Number 5. Build your money mindset. Most people's thinking and attitude are by far the biggest financial obstacle. And one pattern that keeps coming up is that some people like to pass the buck and point the finger at others. Yes, there are circumstances in which some people cannot be held responsible and are not at fault, but adopting the victim mentality and then expecting change are not constructive. The most important trait you should cultivate is self-responsibility, not just for your finances, but for your entire life. Why? Because when you take personal responsibility, you always have control over the issue. And when you have control, you can also make changes. You are alone accountable for your position. Nobody will intervene on your behalf. You are responsible for acquiring the knowledge necessary to address your difficulties and for constantly applying that knowledge. The door can be shown to you, but you must open it on your own. And how do you actually go about doing that? Simply put, do you make too little money? Then, consider ways to make more money. You hold it in your hands, but you must take action to obtain it. Attend trainings, develop your talents, or seek for a new job. If your rent was not so high, could you save $2,000 each month? And yes, I was just made aware of something similar. Find a less expensive apartment, even if that is the underlying issue. You desire to have $1 million in your investing holdings. Very well, then acquire the knowledge, put it into practice, and adhere to your investing strategy up until the desired outcome. The wishes you have do not just come true because life is hard. You have to work for them. However, many people choose not to act because they place the blame for their position on other people and their circumstances. The answer? Personal accountability is necessary. And if you also want to get on the right track with your finances, you will find the link directly in the video description to learn more about frugal living and frugality. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, and if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. We hope to see you in the next one.